was there a specific or defining moment that pushed you to sort of reinvent yourself into a new chapter as an author?
Yes, it was a slow burn, a very, very, very slow burn. The idea of the book came about, believe it or not, in 2006. See what I mean by slow burn? So I thought, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would become a novelist. What? That's crazy. And then I kept thinking, I'm going to make one, if anything, for my family to have, for the next generation, because I didn't want them to lose what we grew up with, you know. And I said, well, let me think about that. So I kept putting things together in a map in my head, like a
Yeah.
like a story map, if you will, for lack of a better term right now. And I kept adding to it. And then I was like, okay, what would happen if this and what would happen if that? So I had everything pretty much plotted out in my head for years.
Huh.
But life came at me really hard during those years. We had illness, like my mother became ill, and it was just a progressive situation. It took a lot of time. I work in the school, so that is a very intense job. I'm a mom too, so it was very, you run the house, everything. And I kept thinking about it, but I really didn't have the time to sit down and write. Things started finally slowing down. In 2021, I kept telling myself, I really miss the arts. I really miss this. I need to include that in my life, the creative process, because like I said, it used to drive me. And then as like you grow up and you have to adult or whatever you call it, you don't have much
Sure.
time, right? So I
Yep.
said, I need to do this. And I kept telling myself, oh, but you've never been a writer. Yeah. What are you going to do with, and I'm like, well, this is myself talking, in my head. I'm like, well, you're just going to sit down and try it. Might not be perfect, but the worst that can happen is that you can try again and
So
tweak it, and, but you have to find this time to be creative. So one day, it was in July of 2021. I said, all right, here we go.
gonna happen. Gonna
It is
happen.
going down, right?
Yeah. It's going down.
It's going down. So
Okay.
I'm a very musically driven. So I have
Mhm.
to have music. Like I'm constantly playing all kinds of music. And I said, all right, let's find that Eye of the Tiger music that works for me.
Yes. That's
So
great. I love it. Yeah.
not that exact song, right? But like an inspiring song for me,
Yeah.
right?
For
And then I
you.
said, all right, I'm going to sit down. And I'm a night owl too, so I can't write during the day. It just doesn't flow. And I said, all right, I'm going to do it when it's quiet. The world is quiet, no distraction. And I actually sat down and wrote the first chapter. I was like, what?
I noticed that you weave in mysterious pebbles as symbols of timing and transformation. Do I have that right? Can you kind of share what those mean to you within the story?
Mysterious, you mean? The mysterious
Yeah.
aspect of the story?
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes things are being conveyed to us, I don't want to give too many details about that, but
Our listeners
sometimes
are going to go get it.
yeah, things are being conveyed to us
Mhm.
and we're too busy to pay attention, right?
Mhm.
And that's what that's all about. Sometimes you have to zero in, be aware of what's being conveyed to you. And you'll see what it is in the book, but but that's the mysterious part. These guys were busy, right? They paid attention.